Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Be Good to Yourself. My name's Chef Billy Breedlove, aka Florida Boy. All right. Today's pro tip is going to be a cool little snack for you guys to have with your bourbon. You can put on top of your ice cream, or just have when you're just sitting around enjoying yourself with some company. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing some pecan halves that are candied and glazed with bourbon and sugar. But also I want to give a shout out to the guys over at the Whiskey Rebellion. Check those guys out. We got a great podcast coming up. You guys make sure and check that out. Also, if you haven't already, go over to my YouTube channel, Chef Billy Breedlove, or Be Good to Yourself, and check out my videos. Give me a subscribe, a like, a comment, and a share. All right, guys, so let's get started. So what we're going to be doing today, like I said, we're going to be taking some pecan halves, some sugar, and some bourbon. So in this case, I'm going to be using bullet bourbon. You can use any bourbon that you want, but what you want to make sure and do is do something that isn't too expensive. You're not using a lot of bourbon, so it should be okay regardless. All right, so what you want to do first, get your heat up to like a medium, okay? Get your pecan halves in there. Give them just a little bit of toast. And what this is going to do is this is going to help bring out some of the flavor, okay? And of course, with this recipe, you can do this basically with any dried nut that you want to do this with. It's real simple, real easy. Not very hard to do, very inexpensive. All right. Okay, so we have that. And again, you want to make sure you just have just a little bit of heat in there, okay? You can feel it for yourself. It's not anything that's going to burn you. Okay. Let that warm up just a little bit more. All right, now what we're going to be using, like I said before, we have the bullet bourbon. And we're going to be using 4 ounces of the bullet. And just some regular grain sugar here, and this is 1/3 of a cup. Now, if you like yours a little bit sweeter, you can of course add a little bit more sugar to it. And if you don't want to use bourbon, you don't have to use bourbon at all. You can use brown sugar for this as well, but just remember, the brown sugar is going to give you a definite, more intense flavor. All right, so we're going to take our sugar. You're going to sprinkle it in there. Okay. Just give it a little toss. And I'm going to try to let you guys see this as I go through the process. Okay. And if you feel like you got enough sugar in there, you don't have to add the whole thing. But remember, the sugar is going to break down and dissipate a little bit. So, got your sugar in there. And you want to keep this rolling a little bit. So what this is going to do, this is going to cause the sugar to start to melt and break down and adhere to the pecan halves. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay. All right. Perfect. Now, we're going to go ahead, we're going to take our bourbon, and we're going to add it in there. And just on a safety note, guys, if you're going to be using this with a gas stove, make sure and add your bourbon off the fire. Otherwise, your fire, the bourbon will flame up. It will burn off, but we don't need that in our lives, right? Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that. So now this is actually making like a candy in there. And you want to just kind of keep this moving around a little bit. Okay. And you can see where we're getting that nice caramel glaze in there. That beautiful color. Now this is extremely hot at this point, so be careful because this is melted sugar in here. This is not something you want to get on yourself at this point. Okay, and you want to just continue to move that around a little bit. So now what's happening, all that beautiful candy is marrying to the pecans. And you want to just take a spoon and just get everything up off the bottom. Okay. Look at that beautiful candy we got. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Now, you can kind of see that caramelization happening there. Okay. Now at this point, we can go ahead, turn our stove off. See if you guys can get a good idea of what that looks like. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take you a little pan, just a little bit of pan spray. Okay. Once you have that, what you're then gonna do, and be careful with this, you want to put this on a surface. You don't really want to pour this directly on. Okay? Beautiful. Now what you can do, take this, spread it out a little bit, and there you have it. And it probably should take a good 30 minutes or so for this to completely cool. But as you can see, this is going to be absolutely lovely when it's all done. All right, so that's basically it, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for all your support. Remember, check out the Whiskey Rebellion. Also, go to my YouTube channel, Chef Billy Breedlove, aka Florida Boy, or Be Good to Yourself. Thank you so much, guys. And as always, be good to yourself.